This is Nob Hill, a small hill situated near Louth in Lincolnshire, and hidden amongst the trees are various knobs to find. I can't show you that on YouTube, but they're definitely there. Nob Hill is part of the Bain Valley, which was formed by a glacier during the Ice Age because it was cold. Whilst it does feature on the oldest maps that I can find, it's not clear as to the origins of the name. However, back in the old days, the word knob was used to describe a rich person or someone with a higher social class than yourself. Today we'd call them aristocrats, toffs or posh twats, but to be fair, the word knob still works just fine. Anyway, my theory is that Nob Hill got its name because back in those old days, the few houses in the area would have been owned by wealthy landowners. The knobs were living on the hill, Nob Hill. Hello there and welcome to another grand tour of silly and offensive place names in England. In the space of some minutes we'll be travelling 170 miles or so around the country, so sit back, relax and giggle along like a schoolchild as I explore and discover some of the more interestingly named locations or streets. My name is John, welcome to Auto Shenanigans, why not consider subscribing? We don't need to go far for our next serious conversation about infrastructure because 10 minutes from Nob Hill is Fanny Lane, which is funny. That's it, it's just funny. No, it's funny because in America, fanny means your arse, whereas over here it means a lady's furry front bottom, but either way, the joke still holds up. You'll find Fanny Lane in the small village of Ludford, and the name doesn't mean anything like what I've suggested. It's said that in the old days, the land that the road sits on was owned by a bloke called John Hands, and when it came to naming the road, he named it after his wife called Frances, or Fanny for short, Fanny Hands. And if you're in the United States right now wondering, do we really use Fanny as a name? Yeah. Oh, this is hilarious. Are you having fun yet? Let's crack on. But crack on. And we're off to visit the road that your mum lives on, found around 30 miles from Fanny Lane, and interestingly is located in a town that uses a very different word for a lady's tuppence, or fanny. That's you, that is. As if that wasn't bad enough, the road that your mum lives on is known as Basic Slag Lane, which, perhaps lucky for all of us, is a private road located right in the middle of Scunthorpe Steelworks, an industry that began here in the 1800s, which is just about hanging on in there, with it now being the only steelworks in the country capable of manufacturing virgin steel, something that your mum knows nothing about living on Basic Slag Lane, but unfortunately, as I say, it's in the middle of the steelworks and not accessible. Other than your mum, Basic Slag is a byproduct of the steel making process, which when ground into a powder makes for a very good fertiliser owing to its high phosphorus content. It was developed in the 1880s, and by 1910 they were manufacturing over 850,000 tonnes of the stuff every year, making it a very important side hustle for the steelworks. We can therefore safely assume that Basic Slag Road is the area on site where all of that used to happen. We're leaving Lincolnshire now and heading into West Yorkshire, which is a little bit of a motorway drive along the M180, M18 and M62 as we make our way to the next hilarious location, found in the town of Castleford, a former mining town that saw a lot of well-needed regeneration in the late 2000s, almost resulting in the loss of our next subject. Which is a bridge known as Tickle Bridge. However, the structure that we're looking at was actually named Tittlecock Bridge on its completion in 2008 as part of larger regeneration works. This bridge and underpass replaced a Victorian-built bridge which featured a narrow alleyway underneath, and it was that bridge that was known as Ticklecock Bridge. The local council saw the building of a new bridge as an opportunity to come up with a more appropriate name. However, this was met by opposition from local residents who insisted the original name be reinstated, which it was. As for the meaning of Ticklecock, this might be one of those situations where the name is the result of the sort of activities that may have once occurred here. It's said that the underpass or alleyway was used as a place to find a potential girl or boyfriend, where people would parade up and down hoping to get some cock-tickling action, or maybe you could use your fanny hands. To South Yorkshire next to look at a road called Archer's Way, which isn't very silly or offensive, is it? And that's because the residents on the road have no sense of humour. It's located in the town of Conisbrough, and in 2009 the road name was changed after local residents got fed up with visitors, idiot YouTubers and general visitors making life difficult or taking the piss. Furthermore, taxi services and delivery companies struggled with the road name, thinking it was some sort of joke, and that's because this isn't Archer's Way, it's Butthole Road, although the local residents would rather you didn't know. We'll explore more buttholes later on because for now we're going to head into Sheffield, which is a short drive along the M18, and we're looking at a road that was built on what used to be Sheffield City Airport, which was opened between 1997 and 2008, which seems like a short lifespan for an airport. It's not an offensive road name, but it is rather silly and is apparently the result of a simple joke that somehow stuck and got through council planning permissions. At this location, we find one of South Yorkshire's police operation buildings, which is rather fitting for the road, which is named Letsby Avenue. It's the age-old joke of where does a police officer live? On Letsby Avenue, because they say let's be having you before arresting you. It's not that funny if you explain it, is it? But if you're not from the UK, the joke probably makes no sense. An interesting feature of the road, if you will, is that it no longer appears on Google Maps, and I'm not entirely sure why. It's possible, with it being a private road, that they're trying to limit the idiots like me from visiting for the lols. Still, what are they going to do? Arrest me? Probably will actually, but if they say Letsby Avenue before pepper spraying me, it's totally worth it. We're jumping across to Derbyshire for our next stop, which is near Chesterfield, the town with a crooked church. It's a small village set in the picturesque Derbyshire Dales with history dating back to the 17th century, and it's called Cock Alley. Now you might say your cock is located in your nether regions, which is probably why to the south of the village there's a property known as Nether House. It's unclear as to where the name Cock Alley came from, but with the village originally being a small farming community, it's possible that it was a well-known place for cocks. I mean chickens, obviously. You're so childish. Let's move on, and we've a bit of a trip down the M1 into Leicestershire where we find the final destination on our grand tour. I did promise earlier we'd do some more exploring of buttholes, and I intend to deliver on this promise with a visit to what? Butthole Lane, and the first thing you'll notice is that the road name and sign hasn't been changed to Archer's Way or whatever, and that's because the residents here embrace the butthole along with the humour that's associated with it, unlike those living on Archer's Way. Although just on that, the name Archer's Way and Butthole Lane aren't that different from one another. It's said that in the Tudor times, a butt was another word for a target used by archers, and a butthole would have been an area most likely sunk into the ground where archery practice could occur safely. So the name Archer's Way, whilst not funny, does actually make sense, but I prefer butthole. So, to summarise, not Fanny hands, basic slag, tickle cock alley, butthole. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you liked the video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, bye-bye. It's funny because Range Rover. And general visitors making life difficult or taking the piss.